This is Washington Watch. I'm Tony Perkins, your host. The website, tonyperkins.com. 5 evil things Biden plans to do as president. Just 5? I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. Joining me now to talk more about this, Terry Jeffrey, editor-in-chief of CNSnews.com. Terry, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tony, thanks for having me on.
I guess for the sake of space and time, you had to limit it to 5?
That's exactly right. I agree with you. There's more than 5, but for the moment, I just focused on these 5, which I think are particularly important.
I think they are, starting at the very time. And these are not things that you're suggesting that he will do. These are things he said he would do.
Right. These are things, actually, every single one of these is documented on Joe Biden's campaign website. He has a place on there he calls Joe Biden's Vision, where he has all these pages for his policy initiatives and promises, and every single one of these 5 things is cited there.
Number 1?
Number 1 is that he promises that as president, he would codify a right to kill unborn children by codifying Roe v. Wade to federal law. So you make a federal law trying to make it impossible for states to limit or prohibit abortion.
You know, what I found very interesting as they began to push that in the Democratic primary is that was a acknowledgement that Roe v. Wade is not the law of the land. It is a decision by the Supreme Court that they've been parading around as the law.
Right, and we all know from the fights we've had over Supreme Court nominations over the years that a 5-4 pro-life majority on the Supreme Court could overturn Roe and send the abortion issue entirely back to the states. And, of course, the Democrats have all kinds of things going on to try and prevent that from happening, everything from the way they've dealt with Republican Supreme Court nominees to their idea now that they may pack the court. But, yeah, so Biden wants a federal law that makes abortion nationwide a quote-unquote right, which I say is evil.
Well, it doesn't stop there. To add to that evil, to intensify it, is to force every American taxpayer to fund it.
Correct, and that's what I cite in my column as evil number 2. Biden is promising to get rid of the Hyde Amendment, which is put into federal bills, particularly the HHS appropriation bill, to prevent federal money from being used to fund abortion. It used to universally prohibit federal funding of abortion. In more recent years, it's allowed exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. But he wants to completely repeal the Hyde Amendment. And beyond that, what he wants to do is he wants to create a quote-unquote public option under Obamacare, which he describes as a Medicare-like health insurance plan that would cover abortions. So in 2 different ways, after he would codify abortion as a nationwide right, he'd make everybody who pays taxes in America fund abortions.
And then he would go beyond that to force businesses, private, family-owned businesses, to provide health insurance that covers abortion-inducing drugs.
Exactly. That's what I described as evil number 3. He says in his plan that he wants to go back before Hobby Lobby to the mandate that the Obama administration originally issued when he was vice president, that forced every family-owned business in America, or of a certain size, to cover all FDA-approved contraceptives in their health care plans, which included abortion-inducing drugs and devices, which is what the Hobby Lobby case was all about. And unfortunately, the Supreme Court never really settled that issue. And so this is a place where Joe Biden right away could do some serious damage.
Number 4 on his list of evils?
Number 4 is he says that on day 1 as president, he's going to force public schools and colleges to treat biological males as if they're females. He literally says they're going to have to let transgenders pick their own identity, their gender identity, he calls it, and then they can play on the sports team they choose and use the locker rooms and restrooms that they choose. So literally Joe Biden will order public schools to say that anatomical males can play on the girls' sports teams, use the girls' shower rooms, and use the girls' restrooms. Completely outrageous, absolutely evil, but that's what he's promising to do.
And number 5 on the list.
And number 5, which follows from that, is he says that he would make insurance companies cover what he calls gender confirmation surgery, quote unquote, which is really the mutilation of boys and girls to make them at least resemble the other sex that they want to claim to be. He would make insurance companies do that. Similar to Hobby Lobby, he'd make family-owned businesses cover abortion-inducing drugs and devices. He'd also make insurance companies provide that quote-unquote surgery, which is actually mutilation. By the way, Tony, these issues, particularly those last two, in my view, did not get nearly the kind of exposure and discussion they deserved before the election. I think there are many Americans who have no idea that Joe Biden's going to order public schools to let boys play on their girls' sports teams and let boys use their girls' locker rooms. To me, that's such a huge issue. And It's not just evil, it shows a distortion of mind on Biden's part. And I don't think there's any way he could defend it in a real debate. And so I think we are going to have a debate, unfortunately, on that issue in the future. And I hope that people very aggressively go after Joe Biden and his allies on it, because it would simply be insane for that to be the case.
Terry Jeffrey, on the way out here, how many of these 5 can he do without Congress?
My understanding, he can do at least 3 of them.
Yeah. So the other 2, the outcome of the Georgia special election is going to be critical.
Absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial.
Terry Jeffrey, as always, great to have you on the program, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tony. Talk to you later.
You can read Terry's article. Go to TonyPerkins.com and follow the links over. A lot of evil coming. Coming up next here, though, is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Lindsey Graham. Don't go away. We hear from him next.